This story is about Cowboys published 2H. This story is about. Share this story on. Washington Redskins Alfred Morris, 46, gains extra yardage on a run after escaping a tackle attempt by Dallas Cowboys Rolando McClain, 55, during the second half of an NFL football game. In Arlington, Texas, the Dallas Cowboys have agreed to terms on a 2-year deal with running back Alfred Morris. The 27-year-old Morris started every game in his first 4 NFL seasons with the Washington Redskins, racking up 713 yards rushing and 29 touchdowns. Morris tormented the Cowboys, running for 710 yards and 7 touchdowns in 8 games against them. AP photo, Tim Sharp. File, by Bob Sturm. Special contributor. Contact Bob Sturm on Twitter, @SportsSturm. We take another break from the draft this morning to look at another move in the Cowboys' free agency season. Yesterday, they were able to add 2 nice pieces to their 2016 depth chart without writing the big checks that free agency can sometimes require. First, they found out that the offer sheet to Benson Mayowa will not be matched. I wrote about his skill set back over the weekend and would invite you to catch up on that by clicking here. Then, in a rumored deal that finally went down, the Cowboys acquired RB Alfred Morris from Washington to a deal that looks very familiar. In fact, it is nearly the exact same deal they put on Darren McFadden last spring. Alfred Morris's 2-year deal with Cowboys, $3.5 meters base with chance to earn up to $5.5 meters, similar to Darren McFadden deal with Dallas, $3 million base, $5.85 meters. Brandon George, at the @MN_George, March 22, 2016. Now, this is clearly not the type of deal that top-of-the-market RBs sign. In fact, according to further reporter discussions on the Morris contract, it looks like the price of the 27-year-old veteran who has more yards in the NFL since 2012 than any RB other than Adrian Peterson is roughly $1.8 meters for 2016. Alfred Morris's deal with Cowboys includes $1 million bonus, $800,000 salary that's guaranteed. Threshold for incentives starts at 1,000 yards. Todd Archer, at Tatercher, March 23, 2016. In other words, Morris is going to cost less than pound Andrew Gatchker this season. So, on the surface, let's start with simply arguing that there is almost not a thing to lose with this pick. There is no risk. There is no cap room being allocated of note. And there is no downside to seeing if this RB, who has shown he understands the concepts of zone blocking schemes, still has anything in the tank. If you want proven RBs with no chance of it not working, look what Chip Kelly and the Eagles dropped on DeMarco Murray last spring. $18 million guaranteed to sign, and then they don't work anyway. So, it looks like the overall investment for Alfred Morris is down below what they are paying Darren McFadden. That is quite impressive. Now, the question I have, is it to pair with McFadden or is it to replace McFadden? In other words, I am hearing many people discuss the idea that this takes them out of the RB market altogether. It might, but if a quality RB is there between rounds 2 to 4 and they choose to pull the trigger, I could see where McFadden and Morris are working for the same job. That means McFadden, one of the few 1,000-yard rushers in the NFL last year, would be out. But we can talk about that after the draft. And, of course, any move like that would not happen until August anyway. The money invested in McFadden and/or Morris requires no urgency whatsoever. Now, let's look at this new signing and discuss why they are interested. Alfred Morris, RB, 5'11", 224 pounds, Dec. 12, 1988, 27 years old, 463, 45th year. There is no question that the Cowboys received more from their running game than most people expected in a year without DeMarco Murray, Tony Romo, and most of De'Asai Bryant. They did it on the backs of a very strong offensive line and a surprising year from Darren McFadden after Joseph Randle followed roughly the worst-case scenario down the drain of his career. What makes this all the more remarkable is that they did so while having to alter their scheme to fit the skill set of McFadden. The former Raider had a reputation that preceded him here that we wrote about quite a bit last summer. He is not comfortable or fluent in the zone running game concepts. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have built their offensive line on the singular premise of finding zone blocking scheme personnel and then investing heavily in that very thing for the last 5 seasons. In an organization where consistency is sometimes difficult to see, they were very consistent in moving away from the old-school man-blocking concepts of Hudson Hook. Now, they were a zone team and ran it at best 100% of the time. 2013 early 2014, and at worst about 80% of the time. But, with McFadden, it just never worked. Here are the numbers for you to do with what you like. In 2015, Darren McFadden was given the ball 183 times on zone running plays and racked up 668 yards. This averages out to 365 yards per carry on a team that generally gets 5 yards a carry on these plays. On the old man blocking plays with pulling guards and such, he ran 56 times for 442 yards for a whopping 789 yards per carry. So, the scheme the Cowboys run was half